I've made a lot of mistakes. But Danny's one good thing I ever did.
That being the case, we better make sure he doesn't turn out to be the Antichrist.
Crank boys need to be called them prank boys because they fooled me into thinking that this is going to be a good movie.
Oh, no.
I was behind them, man.
They want to see what we did with Crank and put it on top of Ghost Rider. It's going to be kick-ass. Hey, guys, here's a script. Oh, shit.
Well, to me, it was one of these where somebody watched the first one and said, like, man, what do y'all want to see? We want to see a badass-looking Ghost Rider. All right, we're going to do that. And you got Nicolas Cage. Make him be the crazy Nicolas Cage. All right, we're going to do that, too. And somehow, the results are not any different than the first movie.
Well,
it's still shit.
It's funny because they're both crappy movies, but the first one is crap in a very sort of much more traditionally Hollywood sort of crappy way.
Normally, I mean, I understand like the desire to want to say like, hey, these guys couldn't help it, the script was bad, but there's times that they stop the movie to put in a bad joke.
No, I agree.
And I was like, that's their fault. That's them doing
No, I know. But one can't help but wonder if it gets to that point where, like, the people who are producing it's like, no, we love this script. We're proud of it. So you're not going to do anything to change. You got to put all this shit in here.
No.
I don't know. Who knows what the fuck happened there?
You know what happened? This is what they did. Everyone talked about how bad that fake-ass powdered donut, dried-up white piece of dog shit skull was in the first movie. So they said, hey, we got the budget now to do a great-looking Ghost Rider, except they didn't have the money to do anything else. The rest of the movie was made for cheap because it was all done in either abandoned buildings out in the middle of nowhere or it was done in the middle of a dirt field. I saw so many rocks in that goddamn movie, the Flintstones were in the background. Yeah. The rest of the time, you get Nicolas Cage acting like a damn fool like he always does.
Just Nicolas Cage, not even being crazy Nicolas Cage. Well, and they give you enough of a taste early on of like what you want to see Nicolas Cage doing, being totally fucking insane, that you're like, all right, now see, this is what I'm talking about. But then the rest of the movie, they're like, and now we're just going to take a nap.
And ever so often, it's like it's random. Like they spin the randomizer. It's like, oh, hey, we can have him be crazy Nicolas Cage in this scene. But it's like, yeah, but it just came out of nowhere, and it's just dumb.
Well, they're all false starts.
Yeah.
They always feel like they're about to do something cool, and like they're leading into it, and then they just go back to boring old.
Let me tell you. Okay, if you're listening to this review, do me a favor. Go back and look at the trailer. Now, watch the trailer. You're going to see all these cool car chases. You're going to see all these things where Ghost Rider's looking at somebody, getting the death stare and shooting people when he like swallows bullets and he shoots flaming bullets back out at people. And then there's this scene where he gets on this big crane type heavy equipment thingy and it turns into this big flaming monster, and that is badass. And that takes place at about the 25-minute mark in the movie, about the 30 minute. And after that, well, congratulations. You've just seen the movie. You really do get Nicolas Cage hanging out in the middle of this gravel-ridden country, him and Idris Elba, trying to save this little boy who is being hunted down by Satan because Satan, his second coming needs to be in the body of this kid.
This little kid, what makes you think I can find him?
This man that you met years ago that put the curse on you?
Rourke.
The devil has many names. He is the link that connects you to this child. Let the rider follow his stench. It will lead you to the boy.
You said something about a deal.
The church of my masters is an ancient one. We are prepared to give to you the one thing you want most of this world. Bring us the boy, and we will lift your curse.
By the way, this kid looks like the second coming of Natalie Portman if you look at him.
Well, it seemed like they couldn't decide whether they wanted to make the kid the real son of Satan evil or just an innocent little kid.
When they couldn't decide if they wanted to make the guy that Kieran Hines plays actually Satan or just another devil.
Right.
Mark Neville-Dean and Brian Taylor, those are the guys that did Crank. And the thing that they're known for is for just being crazy with their camera work. And even at the beginning of the movie, I was saying that, y'all are being a little bit too crazy. It's okay to use a tripod, every now and then.
If it's just a dialogue scene and they're just some exposition, seriously, just chill out for a minute.
It was the thing, like you said, like where they had a shit script and they're like, well, you know what? That's all right because we're going to dress it up. We're going to shoot everything from the ground. We're going to use crazy camera angles. We have this badass animation we're going to throw in for backstory. We got all these great effects. We got some slow-mo action scenes that don't look like Zack Snyder, almost like a video game. And for I felt like for the first 20 minutes, I was like, wow.
I'm with this.
Yeah, I'm with this. This is going to be all right.
Let's see what's going to happen.
And for me, it's like they unleashed their bag of tricks by the 20-minute mark, and from that point on, it was just a repeat of those same tricks over and over.
I tell you,
you're not
it
wrong.
just loses everything.
Yeah, I'm watching the movie. I'm thinking, I really don't know what's so bad about this film. It's not good. It really lacks focus.
Yeah.
But it's as far as
It can
the
easily
effects
turn
go,
around and come together.
yeah, and the action goes. I'm like,
It was moving quickly. It was heads and tails above the first one, and then it just stops
Yeah,
moving.
and I'm thinking you don't really need that much story for something like this. But these guys, in another life, they must have been ferrets or something. I mean, because they don't have focus, man. They really
Somewhere in Hollywood, Neveldine and Taylor are like, oh my God, we should totally strap a camera to a ferret.
It's like these guys got a camera, did about 20 lines of coke, started shooting the movie, and then got tired and sat down because the movie, after that 30 minutes, it is so dull, it is so boring. And like you said, Leon, it's like, man, you make this really cool movie for a little while that has all these great effects and all this great action, and then it starts to get dumb because they start to weigh it down with a lot of bad visual jokes and just a lot of bad acting. I don't care.
Yeah.
A lot of people give Nicolas Cage a pass for being crazy bad acting. Nicolas Cage, they say, man, Nicolas Cage is one of those guys who when he's bad, he's good. No, when he's bad in this movie, he sucks. All right.
There's a few moments here where it really works. There's a point where, like, they do this thing in here where he's really trying to hold down the Ghost Rider, and it's like, when you really got to take a shit and there's not a bathroom anywhere nearby. That's what it's like watching him, but he's flipping out, and the little bits of the Ghost Rider appearing on his face, and he's going, blah, blah. I was like, okay, that was very entertaining to watch Nicolas Cage acting like a crazy person.
Did you like that part?
But when
I didn't like
everyone,
that part
see,
at
I
all.
thought that was hysterical, but later on when he'll just go out of nowhere and be like, anyway, as I was saying,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that for?
Yeah, to me, there's a scene where him and Idris Elba meet up for the first time, and I thought that was where the movie peaked. Like that whole scene, the first coming of Ghost Rider, like you go into the origin, all that, him coming back, that was all really strong. He gets out there for the very first time, and he's confronting all the villains. But once he's out there, he does a lot of posing. He does a lot of just standing around, like grabbing a villain or a henchman and just looking at him going,
Yeah, why are you
scared?
Why are you just doing that? Are you going to suck his soul or what?
Well, yeah.
You're just going to stare at this guy?
And at one point, he gets hit by a rocket launcher and blown up to where Johnny Blaze is in the hospital. I'm like, well, dude, if you can be affected by these things, shouldn't you try to dodge them?
That was explained. He was in the presence of that little boy, and the little boy was making him more mortal or more human or whatever.
Okay.
Is that what it was? Did they say that?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I
saying
didn't catch that at all. Because he was in the presence of the little boy later when he takes full on a much more powerful rocket launcher and just dusts it off his jacket.
I didn't say it made sense because none of this shit makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not one of these things where I'm like trying to pick the logic apart and something like that. It's just like that's a certain survival instinct. It's like, look, how your characters react to things is more important than anything. It's like if they act like they're scared of something, then you as the audience member, you feel a sense of danger.
Well,
If
I'm
they
not
don't-
nitpicking based on real life. I'm nitpicking based on the mythology the movie creates for itself.
Exactly.
Where it says, oh, if you hit him point blank with this like explosive shotgun round, which they do, yeah, you could seriously injure him, even put Johnny Blaze into the hospital for real. But later on, like I said, he takes on like the biggest baddest ass missile ever point blank, and he's just like, oh,
Right.
Yeah.
like, which is it?
Exactly. Well, yeah, and just the way he just stands around a lot of times, nodding his head, like the whole scene, like that whole scene where he pisses fire, and you think, oh, that's just for the trailer. No.
I didn't mind how they used it at first, but then when they brought it back again later, I was like, stop, you already did that, and it's okay.
Well, it's that nodding of the head. Like so often when Ghost Rider shows up and he just stands there, or he's in somebody's face just going, ha, 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 twisting his head. I was like, I feel like this movie is meant for, like, if I went with my stoner friend who's really into Ghost Rider the whole time, be elbowing me going like, isn't that badass? Ghost Rider, dude, Ghost Rider, he's badass.
It's
Like,
like,
all right, shut up.
Yeah, I know he looks cool, no question. He looks cool, but he's got to do something while he's being cool.
Yeah, no, that was what got me. I was like, I don't know if this was in the comic books because I never read the comic books, but
It was a B- less comic book
okay,
character.
well, I never read it, but I'm looking at Ghost Rider. I'm like, okay, your main power is to go up and just stare at somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, man. Out of all the cool shit that Ghost Rider does, no flames come out of his eyes, no light rays. It's just like he really does just come up to somebody, open his mouth like, It's like, what, you want somebody to look at your cavities or something?
Right. Well, like they even flashback at one point to show you what it looks like when he sucks someone's soul out that way, and then he proceeds to never ever do that for the whole film. He just stares at them.
I mean,
hey, what's going on?
And it's a long ass time when they staring at somebody too. Like,
yeah, people are shooting at him. Bad guys are getting away. No, he's just gonna keep staring.
Well, he stared at one guy, and he looked at one guy. He was like, and this guy was like, no, and he was like, no. You gonna do something? He almost looked at the audience like, y'all seeing this?
Can you just kill me already? Because I'm fucking bored.
He's like, damn, he shot himself with his own gun. I tell you, the movie. So you have Nicolas Cage returning as Johnny Blaze, and this is more of. They're doing this thing again. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught it. To me, it seemed like this, that they're doing what they did with the Hulk, that this is not exactly a sequel, but kind of one of those, well, we're not saying if it's a sequel or a reboot. You just decide for yourself.
Really? I thought it was directly a sequel.
The
way they flashback and all.
Well, they do the flashback, but they keep key elements out from the previous film.
Yeah.
So you don't see Eva Mendez's character in there anywhere.
Okay,
they don't even have the same Saint. I mean, I know they explained it, but it comes back in a different body.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're really trying to cut ties with that first movie, and they're not. The way they chose to do it here is not exactly the best route. One of the things I can say about that first Ghost Rider that I enjoyed, it took place away from fucking rocks and and trees and sticks. I mean, they shot this in Romania and Turkey. You were telling me, sir?
Yeah.
It's funny how even the environments add to the boredom of this movie.
True. I mean, that of all the things this movie did, or I thought would do, even in the beginning, where I'm like, well, this is just silly and it's repeating itself. But I never thought it would reach a point where it would just become absolutely boring.
Yeah, banal.
Yeah. I mean, and it's got one of these stories it's beyond generic. It's an insult to things that are generic. And
yeah, they stretch the generic story. So there's a guy, and I actually like this guy. There's a guy named an actor named Johnny Whitworth.
Yeah, I like him too.
And he was in that Bradley Cooper movie that we love so much. Limitless. He was the guy that sold
the brother-in-law.
The brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually like him. He's kind of like what I wanted from Nicolas Cage in the movie. He seemed to be the most charismatic person in the movie. He seemed to be the one who's having the most fun with it. And I liked him when he was two characters. First of all, you have him as a human henchman who's hired by Satan to go and get this kid so he can bring back and Satan get into his body. Then when he fails,
Kerrigan is his name.
Right?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Kerrigan. Yeah. And then when he's brought back in the movie as I guess he's from the comics.
Sort of based on a character called Blackout.
Okay, so in this movie, he actually kind of has a cool power. Everything he touches decays rapidly, and I'm thinking like, well, that'd be kind of cool, a formidable foe for Ghost Rider. And they don't really do that much with the actor except have him snarl. Even when I like him in the movie, he's not given too much to do, and he's reduced to just being a stock villain. And when he has his superpowers, they don't do anything to really match him up against Ghost Rider.
Yeah, they should have had him fight Dick Clark, who his powers would have been useless.
Well, shit, Dick Clark is decaying on his own.
Yeah. They used him to crowbar in a really bad joke, and other than that, everything's just moving around. It's like he's kind of got this power, but. Well, you kind of know what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, he gets turned into Rob Zombie and then, and goes out and touches shit, and that's it. I mean, come on, man.
This is fucking dumb.
I will say that this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just trying to polish a turd is the problem here. And I can't help but wonder if this would be a much better movie if they'd actually handed it over to these two guys who I really still think are very talented, but they weren't involved in the production. They weren't involved in the writing. It was basically they were just work for hire on this. And Avi Arad was in charge, and ultimately he's that guy who always has the heavy hand over any production that he's involved with. And I picture them going, yeah, do whatever you want with the cameras, but no, don't leave the script alone. We're happy with it the way it is. I mean, you really want to throw in a line after someone gets killed falling off a car? Roadkill. Come on, seriously? That's not even a joke. That's not even a tough guy line. It's stuff like that.
He said roadkill.
Almost every line in this movie has that like eye rolling, looking around at the rest of the audience going, are we supposed to be laughing, or I'm not? What's happening?
It's those lines like they're trying to appeal to people who like to see bad films that are made bad on purpose, and like I say, elbow each other and go like, ah ha ha, you got it, wasn't that awesome?
And
It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Who's the kid in the movie? Anybody know?
The kid is, what was his character's name? Do you remember?
Danny.
Oh yeah, Fergus Riordan. I believe this is probably his first movie.
Well, his name is more exciting than his performance in this movie. I'm not even talking about the actor. I'm talking about this. They did for a kid who's supposed to embody the soul of Satan. I don't know what the fuck Satan saw in him. I was like, what? This kid just looks like an average, kind of dull kid to me. I don't know what the fuck you want with him. Idris Elba in the movie. I love Idris Elba. Idris Elba walking around this fake. I can't tell if it's a Jamaican half French accent. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's supposed to be some, and they don't really even explain on his character. He hangs out. He's part of a monastery, but yet he's the only one with a leather jacket and a motorcycle.
Well, no, they explain that he's an alcoholic, so he's sort of a monk, but he never hangs out with them because they don't like the fact that he drinks wine all the time.
Yeah, he works
like, fuck
for
you,
them.
I'm gonna drink wine.
He works for them because he believes in their cause, but he's not really a monk, I think is the deal.
Okay, so he just comes in that house and just drinks this shit.
Pretty much.
Okay,
yeah.
I like y'all,
I'm the guy who people come in the house to drink. What are you talking about?
Cyrus is the drunk monk.
I'm the Christopher Lambert of Spill. That's right. There can only be one.
That cameo by Christopher Lambert. Damn, you all right, man?
Yeah, just laughing gets it all loose.
Okay, shit. I thought your head was about to burst into flames.
Hellfire over here.
Where's your alcohol? Take it. You make a more exciting Ghost Rider than this fucking would in the movie.
He's gonna have his Fleming stare.
Man, you spit in my face, Leon.
That cameo by Christopher Lambert, that was just on the side of embarrassing.
Yeah, it was
like,
useless.
Why'd you even call his number for that?
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they got what's his name? I can always forget that Kieran Hines.
Kieran Hines. Yeah, who at first I was very entertained by him because he's going, wow, he's doing a really different type of performance than we've ever seen from him. It's really exaggerated and weird, but it's like you were saying with their camera work through the film. At first you're like, wow, that's really cool, but then it just starts to grate after a while. Yeah. And that's the way it is with his performance in here. There's just gets to a point where it's just laughable and dumb watching him.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen, the movie's not totally devoid of any entertainment. Like I said, the first 30 minutes of the movie I thought were awesome myself, and then you get about 5 minutes of it near the end of the movie, and then the movie itself just cuts off, might I say, very awkwardly, to the point where Leon was even asking me, he's like, I want to sit around and see if they have something after the credits. I'm like, man, don't you think they took enough of your life tonight? Don't you think that movie did the death stare on you, Leon? So I see some of your soul is gone, man. I was like, let's get out of here before you sit up here looking like a skeleton by the end of this fucking movie, man. I don't
even want to say how eye-rollingly bad the plot decision at the end of that film is either. I was like, I thought that there was nothing they could do to make this dumber than it already was plot-wise. And nope, they totally found a way. Do something that, as far as I know, never even happened in the comics. Somebody went, wow, this would be a very cool Hollywood movie thing to do.
It's when they've exhausted every cliche they could. They reach in and grab
one more cliche.
No, it's a mess. The script, and I'm surprised because it's written by David S. Goyer, but then you had some other people come in and put their hands in it too. So
some of the guys who wrote Flash Forward.
Oh, really?
TV series.
See, there's no telling how many directions this movie took before they actually put it in production and got it made. All I know is, listen, whoever greenlit this, I mean, do it when you got some money. Do it when you ain't got to go in the middle of a rock quarry and shoot, a couple of special effects. I mean, that's not going to fly. Especially for a movie that you're trying to, make people want to see because the first movie was bad. This shit ain't going to make anybody like Ghost Rider any better. And see, it's here that I'm torn about how fair I can be in my rating. Because on the one hand, I really do truly appreciate what this movie got right, especially Ghost Rider. I love this movie's more animalistic and feral take on the character. He's so unpredictable, and I love it. There are times where he'll just stand there and do nothing, and it's creepy, but it's excitingly creepy. But then I mostly feel that those few great moments that I saw of this spastic Hell's Angels Grim Reaper that I love so much was just rushed out on a small budget that cheapened the script. And it pains me to give this movie some old bullshit.
it's rare that I've done such an about face on a movie to where I was hyped up in the beginning, like I'm seeing a high matinee here. By the time the movie was done, I just felt like fuck this movie. I won't quite go the fuck you, but to me it is a definite extreme some old bullshit.
But see, I didn't hate it quite as much as you guys did, although I can't argue with your decision to rate it that lowly. It's not a good film by anyone's. I'm not even going to say who we know who liked this film, because then that'll just start a whole thing. But you could probably guess if you know us. But anyway, I did enjoy that first 30 minutes, and then it just got to the point where, it was repeating itself. There's too much slowness. That terrible acting, terrible script, and the plot just got worse and worse and worse. But there were little moments sprinkled here and there throughout where I go, oh, that was cool. Okay, now back to the lame. I'm going to give it a low rental. And please, like I said, take that with a grain of salt.
Well, look, I tell you, if nothing else, I will give these guys credit. I will. They managed to make a worse movie than that first one.
It's funny how everybody was like, well, you can't do worse than the first one. They said like, oh, yeah, don't challenge us. I'm like Marty McFly. Don't call me chicken.
Yeah. I'd like to present this trophy to these two guys right here. You fucking did it.